A lot of us in the church have experienced what is called a lukewarm life, and Isaiah 6, that chapter, talks about this. It's a very dangerous thing and all too common. The guys from Me in Motion, they open up and share about some of their current struggles. They're so honest with us, and we really appreciated that. And they also talk about how marriage can bring about a death of sorts, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, just right now, it's kind of, for me, it's just been, trusting him with money, honestly. Like, I don't know, that's kind of like, I don't know, a little obscure, but like, personally, that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And it kind of ties in with just the band thing and with working hard and being out on the road, you know, as glamorous as that seems to some people, it's like really difficult financially. So it's just kind of at a spot where I'm really having to trust him for, finances and paying bills and how that all looks and everything. So, it's a cool place to be though, and it's just something I'm learning more about, just about tithing and how he blesses, when you do that and stuff. So I think having a heart for people in need, wherever that is. And so for us, like, we had a song called Losers that Seth wrote, just about a personal experience that, it'd probably be better for him to share about, but...
I think, honestly, what it comes down to is a lifestyle. I don't know that, and, I'd even go so far as to say that I don't know that everybody is called to go out and have their main ministry be to the homeless or to the widows. I think that's something that specific people, I think God equips for. I think we're all supposed to impact the people around us that, Jesus calls the least of these, which can be anything. Some of us might have that person in our life, like Tim was talking about, our song Losers. There might be that kid at the lunch table that we see, every day we go to school who just needs loved, or maybe it is something as much as sponsoring a child and just seeing that kind of a thing. Investing in that way. But I think it's just it's a lifestyle thing, really. Mm-hmm. And just knowing that the things that are really important and the things that I think minister even to the heart of God is just when we go out of our way, a little bit every day, because God sees that. Even if it's not us going to Africa and going on a mission trip, it's starting small and letting something grow. And where does the name Me in Motion come from? And it's just, what I constantly want to do is remind people and inspire people to just not be complacent with their faith, and, just realize that there's people all around us that we might not even know who are hurting in some way or another. People who are lost, people who are just, disenfranchised. And it's just, they're not really going to know that this life that we have is possible unless we go take it to them and, tell them. So I think that's the number one thing we want to inspire people, is that, you can do that. It's being a Christian is hard nowadays. Living a life of faith is hard because it's the opposite way. And, I think that's our number one inspiration to people that we want to portray. Just the idea of tithing. Like, why in the world would you
give your
money away to a church or to whatever? The world teaches you that you're supposed to acquire wealth and build up, climb the corporate ladder and climb the careers and, have the best job, have the big house, have lots of nice cars, whatever, and just the idea of that, something as simple as that is opposite, because it takes the focus off of yourself and puts it on what I feel like is the most important teaching in the Bible: is love others and love God. And I think that in itself just automatically points you the other direction. But I think all three of us being married understand the picture of that a little bit, because I think marriage is such a reflection of your relationship with God, and constantly every day just a little bit more dying to yourself and just really always looking for our wives' best interests and having that in mind. And a good friend of ours, Andrew Peterson, is also a label mate, and he said that marriage is God's way of how did he word it? He had a really cool statement that said, like, God just knows that we're not man enough to die to ourselves all at once. So he gives us a life to practice that and learn what that looks like. So I think we're constantly learning that every day, and just knowing what it means to enter into that sacrifice. And but it's a great thing, and I think that just translates over to our relationship with God, and that we learn a lot from our marriages. So. Hey, we're Me in Motion, and you are watching The Revolution.
One of our favorite Bible verses that we just wanted to share with you guys is Matthew 6:33. It says, "Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you."
The Spirit is something that I think a lot of people, and even myself honestly, have fought to understand. Because you understand the picture of a father, you understand the picture of a son, who's Jesus, but this Spirit, it tends to be this kind of intangible thing that I think even gets thrown up way out of proportion, and really what I think how it's intended to be, and how the Spirit is intended to be. But it's just equally as important as understanding the other two, as understanding Jesus and understanding the Father. And I think it's just absolutely essential that the Bible talks about it a lot. You have to live a life filled with the Spirit, and it's going to manifest itself in different ways through different people, like you said. Certain people have gifts of prophecy and healing, or encouragement, or exhortation, or any of that stuff. But it's I keep thinking of the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. That's how you see when somebody has it, is when they're just manifesting those things. And I think it's ultimately important, and the church definitely shouldn't neglect it. The Bible is very clear, and it says everybody has a gift of the Spirit, and I don't think there's any other way to read that. It's really hard to get out of a routine, because I think we always our inclination is to go towards the most comfortable thing, and almost get lazy with our faith. But I think the Bible's also very clear that faith has got to cost something, and otherwise, what's the point of it? There's no lukewarm. It's hot or cold. And I think the verse that you read about just the Spirit overflowing and healing people, I think that really only happens when they come to a realization and a true understanding of God's love, and how He doesn't want us to live, just a lukewarm life. He doesn't want us to live just kind of a slave to being comfortable, but to just really understand a relationship with Him. And that's what heals us from a lot of our insecurities, and gives us a true sense of identity, which is, I think, the number one struggle of anybody, regardless of young or old. Everybody is just fighting for that identity. And once you really give in and just know that my identity is, I'm a child of God before I'm a musician, I'm a child of God before I'm even a husband, I'm a child of God before anything. And then your identity flows out of that. And I think that's what really heals you.
One of my favorite chapters of late in the Bible is 1 Corinthians 12, and it talks about the gifts of the Spirit. When Jesus Christ came to this earth and He died and He ascended into heaven, He sent the Comforter, and thus the Acts 2 church was born, and people were sent out to minister in the streets. People were healed and miracles were going on, and that's how we're supposed to live as Revelation 5 saints. The awesome thing, though, is the very next verse in 1 Corinthians 13 says, "But without all of these things, without love, this is nothing. This is nothing. The most important gift is love."
That's right. But the opposite of the fruit of the Spirit is the works of the flesh. And too many times we're finding believers and Christians that are acting more in the flesh and the works of the flesh rather than demonstrating the fruit of the Spirit. That joy, that love, that kindness, that long suffering. A lot of times things happen to us, even within the church, and we're so quick to judge and to turn around and anger. And the Bible says to anger but sin not. And a lot of times we do get into some angry states of mind, and you just got to watch that. You have to be in the Spirit. You have to live by the Spirit and show those fruit. And it all starts with your walk with God. Every day you need to walk closer and closer to God. If you're not growing, you're dying. And you need to each day count it as valuable time to spend with God and to demonstrate and be an ambassador for God on this earth. You know, you're going to be the only gospel that many people see and hear. And it's how you act, your character. But it all starts with having that relationship with Jesus. You have to have a relationship, not religion, not going to a certain church. No, having that relationship, embracing the gift that he did for us and making him the Lord of your life. I really urge you to seek out what a real relationship with Jesus is all about. Again, not religion, but a real relationship. If you want, reach out to us through revolutiontv.com. We'll reach right back out. You're not alone.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you all. And if God is for you, who can be against you?